Hi everyone, welcome to the Bottom Line Live. I am so excited to see you all again. I didn't make it last week because I went and had a lot of birthday shenanigans and it was a lot of fun. I'll have to tell you guys, I took some great video. I drove a virtual reality race car. I flew a virtual reality jet plane, not things you do on normal days. It was tons of fun, and I had quite an adventure. And this week I am back with more bookkeeping tips on the Bottom Line Live, and I'm going to share this really quick because that's the way you got to do things these days. You got to share into the group so it goes where it's supposed to go, and it like logged me out, so that's fun. But tonight, guys, I'm going to tell you what you should do. Nano asks me this question all the time. If you have a new company, what's like your blueprint? What should you be doing to set yourself up correctly? How do we set you up for success? Hi, Lexi. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, I'm going to share this to a group. We're going to share it to Wealth Dynamics because I'm getting more advanced on this. I'm doing this from Zoom right now, so I can share my screen. I can do all kinds of stuff. And I also, I'm getting really advanced. I got lighting set up today. This is pretty cool. So all the times that I said I don't know how to do this shit, I am getting it slowly but surely. All right. So guys, and I just want to thank everyone that comes and watches this every Thursday. I know you guys have a lot of things you could be doing with your evening, and you come and watch me and listen to me talk about bookkeeping and show you bookkeeping reports and show you QuickBooks. And I love that you do that. And everyone who's watching this, not live on YouTube, thank you for watching as well. And feel free to come Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Bottom Line Live. I know how to say this. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about what are the best practices if you are starting a new company and you don't know what to do. This is a question I get asked all the time, like all the time. I know a lot of you that are watching are my clients already. You already have bookkeeping set up. Wow, a fly just flew into my mouth. That's exciting. Guess it's what you have to keep your mouth shut sometimes when flies are coming towards you. But you just keep going. The show must go on. Okay, so a lot of my clients, you guys already have bookkeeping set up. You're already very organized. So this is probably not for you. This is for people who either started their company and they are focused just on building their company and making money, and they haven't gotten their bookkeeping figured out yet. And for all of my guys who are entrepreneurs, they're just starting out, they just started a new company, they haven't figured this out yet. Maybe it's their second or third company, but in their last company, they had other people doing their bookkeeping. So this is for you guys, and there's a lot of you because I talk to entrepreneurs all day long. I love entrepreneurs. They are my favorite people, literally, partially because I feel like an alien when I'm talking to people who aren't business owners and entrepreneurs, because they ask me stupid questions like, why do you work all the time? And don't you ever want to relax? And building a business is fun to me and to most entrepreneurs. We don't do it because it sucks. We don't do it because we have a 9-to-5 and we can't wait to go home and relax. Otherwise, we wouldn't be building a business. So that's why I personally love entrepreneurs and business owners. I feel like they're my people. They get me. I get them. This is why we're doing this. This is why we're here. Okay, so to get started, let's say you just have started your business. Let's say you either you quit your job and you started a business, or you started a side hustle. And somebody said, oh, did you open an LLC? And now you're already immediately stressed out because maybe you don't know what an LLC is. You don't know when you should start an LLC. You don't even know anything. You were just planning on, you know, selling widgets. That's what you were going to do. You were going to, or whatever the new, maybe you're going to sell NFTs because that's the new trendy thing that some of my friends are doing. Somebody was telling me it was NFT Mint Day, and I still don't know what that means. So if anybody wants to write in the comments what NFT Mint Day means, please feel free. I'm very curious. Okay, so you just started out. Somebody said, do you have an LLC? Somebody said, oh, do you have a P&L? You don't know what these things are. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So let me demystify this. An LLC is a legal structure. It doesn't affect your taxes at all. It gives you legal liability protection. It's a limited liability company, so that if you were to ever get sued, you are not being sued directly. It is your company. It's a complete separate entity. And the reason you would want it is not for tax purposes. It's specifically and only for limited liability. So it's helpful to have it, but you don't have to have it, because the most common business structure in the US is actually a sole proprietorship. And what do you have a sole proprietorship? Absolutely nothing. You, as soon as you start making money, are a sole proprietor. If you wanted to call your company something other than your name, then there's legal paperwork to do, called you know, a DBA filing, doing business as. But you don't have to do that. As long as you are willing to accept money under your name, like if I had a company and it was called Maya Weinreb, and people could write me checks to Maya Weinreb, I have a sole proprietorship. That's really all I need. So you can set up an LLC, you don't have to. You are a company as soon as you start selling something. Now, what is the first piece of advice I would give someone who just started a company, or just started selling something, or wants to start a company? Go make money. The IRS can't tax you if you haven't made any money. Nobody can ask you for anything if you haven't made any money. Ideas are not taxable. So go make money. Go build your company. Go find a product and sell it. You know, one thing that is different companies do things differently, right? Some people start out with investors. Even if you have investment money, it's still not taxable. You might need a closer look on your books because the investors are going to want to see what your profit and loss is in your balance sheet, but you still haven't made any money that's taxable. So, you know, if you do it that way, there's, you know, obviously paperwork to do to keep track of it. A lot of entrepreneurs start out bootstrapping, so they pay for everything themselves as they go. So until you make money, you have no money to do anything. So you go out, you take your idea and you put it into the physical universe and you make money off of it. And that is your first step as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Okay, what are you going to do after that? You're going to get a bank account. Now, it might be hard to open a business bank account if all you have is your name, you don't have a DBA, meaning doing business as, you don't have an EIN, meaning employer tax ID number, but you don't need any of that. You can just open a personal account and call it your business account. Let's say I decided that I was selling, you know, staplers. I don't know. I went to China, I bought a bunch of staplers, and I'm going to sell them for $3 more than I bought them for. So, and people are paying me. I don't need a DBA. I don't need an EIN yet. All I have to do is get a bank account under my name that I'm putting all of the income in that I'm making from the staplers. And whenever I start paying expenses, let's say I go buy more staplers, let's say I put up an ad on Amazon, all of those things that you pay for, you're going to pay for it out of that bank account. Your initial investment of buying, you know, 500 staplers or whatever, that might not come from that bank account because you had to take it out of your personal account. That's fine. You keep track of it. But everything else going forward, you're going to do from that bank account. Now, what's the next thing that you're going to do? You are going to get some bookkeeping going. that can be really, really simple. For instance, you know, you've heard Jerry talk about this. If you have a Mint Builder membership, you get the tax software for free, which is called, I feel like I forgot the name again, Tax Hurdler. My memory works. So you get Tax Hurdler for free. What that is a very basic bookkeeping software that you can use when you're a sole proprietor, when you haven't started making a lot of money yet, just to track your expenses. And you're just going to label each thing. And that way you'll know what it is. You'll know whether it's deductible, you'll know whether it was marketing, you'll know whether, you know, you're going to label it. And at the end of the year, you'll be able to run a report, or the end of the month or whatever it is, and see how you spent your money, what came in and how you spent it. So just having that by itself is a really good start. If you don't have that and you want to keep track of it on an Excel sheet, fine, do that. It's a little harder. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. Now, let's say you start making money and now you made over 100,000 in revenue, 50, 60,000 in profit, maybe more. What should you do? If you haven't opened an LLC by that point, you definitely need an LLC. And what you should do is you should elect for it to be taxed as an S corporation. Now, I've done a whole other webinar just on the subject of LLCs and S corps, and I'll probably do it again because it's another question that I get asked all the time. But if you have an LLC or a sole proprietorship and you're getting to the point where you're making 100,000 or more, most CPAs, now your tax situation, always, you know, check with your CPA, but most CPAs would say at that point, you want to elect to be taxed as an S corporation. The best way to do that is to be an LLC taxed as an S corporation because you have the least amount of paperwork. The other way to do it is you would open a corporation, which is usually a C corporation, and then elect to be taxed as an S corporation, which you can do, which I am. Like, I am Solvency Now Inc. I'm not Solvency Now LLC, but it's more paperwork. So the simplest way to do it basically is to have an LLC and elect to be taxed as an S corp. The reason that you save money because of that, or the reason why you would do it, is you save money. And here's what you should know about it. As soon as you're elected to be taxed as an S corp, you're going to have to open a payroll. When you have a payroll going as a business owner, even if it's just you, you're going to pay yourself a reasonable salary, which could be 40 to 60% of your revenue, but depending on how much it is, like let's say you made $3 million profit, it's not going to be 50% of that. You know, it'd be a reasonable salary. But let's say you made 100,000 and your profit was 50,000, you would at least want 25, 30,000 to be your salary. On that salary, you pay taxes. You pay the equivalent to self-employment taxes. So you pay Social Security, Medicare, whatever, your state, all of that stuff. But on the rest of your profit, which let's say there's another 20,000 in this scenario that I gave you in profit, you are not going to pay the self-employment or payroll taxes on it. You're actually only going to pay income tax on it. So that's a loophole. That is how rich people save money. So, you know, as Jerry always says, like, we're learning how to be rich people. So this is a tip that you definitely, all CPAs know this, not all of them talk about it, not all of them do tax planning or are going to recommend this to you, but I want you to know it, that you will save a lot of money once you get up to that 100,000 revenue range by electing to be taxed as an S corp. And I just explained it very simply how that works. I am going to do a webinar soon on payroll, and I'm going to make my payroll specialist, Celeste, come on and answer all of your questions. So if you have specific questions on payroll, please send them to me so we can get, you know, questions to answer for her. But so those are the main things. So that's kind of your blueprint to opening a business. How do you get organized as a business? You first make money. Nothing to be done if you don't have money. Then open a bank account just for the business. You don't know how many people come to me that have their personal and their business accounts totally mixed together, and it takes so long to extricate what's business and what's personal, and you're going to end up paying so much money for a bookkeeper to do it, or you're going to spend 3 days in a closet with a bottle of who knows what, trying to figure it out at the end of the year. It's not worth it. Set it up right from the first place, from the beginning, get a separate bank account, and then get that bookkeeping software, even if you just start with a super basic software. Once you're at that point where you're at 100,000 revenue or more, and you're going to do your SCorp election, that's when you're going to want to switch to QuickBooks Online. That is the software that I use, that I recommend everybody use. There are other software that work. QuickBooks Desktop works, Xero works, NetSuite works. I won't say that they don't work, but QuickBooks Online is going to be your most simple, easiest to use, and easiest to give access to for a bookkeeper. So even if all you do in QuickBooks Online is you connect up all your bank accounts, because once people are making money, they try to open lots of bank accounts. Okay, I'll have a payroll account and this account, this account. So you connect up your bank accounts, any credit card that you're using only for business. Even if that's all you did, and at the end of the year you found a bookkeeper, you would still be in a much better position, much better shape than people who come to me with all of their business and personal together. And on top of that, there's this thing called piercing the corporate veil. So if you're using a business account, like let's say you now when you get your SCorp election or you get your LLC, you will get an EIN number from the IRS. And with that, you can go open a business bank account, like an official business bank account. And if you're using your business bank account for personal expenses, you are piercing the corporate veil. And the corporate veil is basically what keeps you protected from the liability, right? Like your limited liability the legal protection that you get from an LLC or an S corporation, whether it's basically the limited liability that you have by having a separate entity that's not you. If you are using your business as your own personal bank account, you can pierce this protection or the corporate veil. And if you were to ever get sued and a lawyer noticed that you were using your business bank account as your personal bank account, they could have the judge rule that it's not a separate entity, and therefore you are liable for those things. So that's another thing, another reason why you don't want to mix the business and the personal. But for me, from a bookkeeper point of view, don't mix them, because it's going to take you a lot of time and money to get it sorted out. What is your business and what is your personal? I have clients sometimes that ask if would it be faster if they did it themselves? No, not unless you're a trained bookkeeper. When we have to go back behind people and fix their bookkeeping, it takes longer than doing it right in the first place. So the fastest way to do something is to do it right in the first place. Fixing things, while it can be done, I can fix almost any mess anybody has made in QuickBooks, but it will take 3 times as long as it did, or more, 3 to 10 times as long to fix it as it took you to make the mess in the first place. And I want to give you guys an example of this, because yesterday I graded a QuickBooks test. So I know I say this a lot, but I hire bookkeepers. People tell me it's hard to find a good bookkeeper. And I can only say I feel your pain, because I hire bookkeepers. And in order for me to hire them, I put them through a lot of tests. I put them through a typing test, an IQ test, a written test before we even talk to them. Then we do a first interview. Then if they seem like they would be a good fit, then we give them a bookkeeping test in QuickBooks. And let me tell you, last night, I'm not going to name any names, but it was one of the worst ones that I've ever seen. And I graded several. So just in case you're watching this and wondering if I'm talking about you, I'm not. No legal liability here for me. I graded several, but one of them that I graded was the worst one that I've ever seen in my life. It was worse than when business owners do their own bookkeeping. Equivalently, when business owners do their own bookkeeping, it usually maybe starts out okay, but after a while, it becomes wild and woolly. But this bookkeeping applicant did 2 months of bookkeeping and messed it up more than years worth of clients trying to do their own bookkeeping. So I don't know exactly what the warning is in that, Because it's not that you're not allowed to do your own bookkeeping or that you can't or you shouldn't, but once you have a bookkeeper, then you shouldn't. And if you hire a bookkeeper, make sure they know what they're doing. Because I test bookkeepers, and unfortunately, a majority of the ones that I've tested weren't great bookkeepers. My bookkeeping test is very, very basic bookkeeping. It's nothing advanced. And most people, even the ones that make it through all the other tests and the interview, fail the test, fail the bookkeeping test. So it's very important to find a good bookkeeper. Once you're at that point, you're making 100,000, 150,000, you don't have time, it's stressing you out. Find a good bookkeeper. How do you know they're a good bookkeeper? Look for reviews. Make sure they send you reports. You want to see your profit and loss. If you're asking for a profit and loss, and I hear this all the time, they ask for profit and loss, they didn't give it to me, I never got it, they couldn't do it, they don't go in my books. They should be able to give you a profit and loss. I mean, based on your contract, if they're doing monthly bookkeeping for you, you should get a profit and loss and balance sheet every month. If they're doing quarterly bookkeeping for you, you should get a profit and loss and balance sheet every quarter. If they're doing yearly bookkeeping for you, then you're going to get it once a year. But whatever your contract is, you should get a profit and loss and a balance sheet every time they do your bookkeeping, you know, minimally once a month. So if you're not getting that, something could be wrong. If you look at your profit and loss and it doesn't make sense, something could be wrong. Now, because you're not a trained bookkeeper, it might not make sense to you just because you don't understand bookkeeping. So make sure they explain it to you, because I have clients ask me, well, how come the money I sent myself isn't on the profit and loss? Well, because owners' distributions or shareholders' distributions, or whatever you want to call it, depending on your structure, is not a profit and loss account. It's an equity account. It goes on the balance sheet. So you'll be able to see it on the balance sheet. You're not going to be able to see it on the profit and loss. So you can't assume that the bookkeeper is wrong just because things don't make sense. But go and look, and by the end, it should make sense. I train my clients, so we will look at the profit and loss together. I will answer any questions they have. Sometimes there's things that need to be moved. We thought that it was a personal meal because it was McDonald's, but it was really a business meal, so we need to move it. We thought that it was marketing, but it was really office expenses. Seaburn says we do our P&L and balance sheet weekly. Absolutely. I personally look at my P&L almost every day. I update my books and look at it. I want to make sure that I'm headed for success. If you have a bookkeeper that's doing monthly bookkeeping for you, you should at least see it monthly. If you want to see it weekly and they're doing weekly bookkeeping for you, absolutely look at it weekly. Minimally look at it monthly. Like I said, I look at my P&L almost every day. I want to know what my revenue is for the month. I want to know what it is compared to the same time last month. Am I running up? Am I running down? Am I spending more money than I should? Okay, Seaburn says we do that because our expenses are so high. If we don't, it gets too overwhelming, and I'm lucky enough to have a full-time bookkeeper. Absolutely. And you know, we do bookkeeping for companies, for small businesses, and depending on the business, anywhere from 150,000 revenue to 5 million revenue. Sometimes companies that are in the $5 million revenue, they get to the point where they need a full-time in-house person. They graduate from us. You know, maybe we were doing 25 hours a week. They want someone 40 hours a week available. We have that happen. And I am only proud of them. They grew, they're too big for us. Like, well done. I know that if they ever start another company, they would send them to us. They love us, but they outgrew us, and that happens. And if you have a full-time in-house bookkeeper, good job. You have a big company. And I know Seaburn does. Seaburn grew his construction company from, you know, him and one other red bearded guy to, I don't know, they have several crews now, and they're high demand in my area. Everybody wants these red beard construction dudes, and I think they come in and with their red beards and do everything that you need. So Maya can claim credit for getting us to that level. Some credit. I definitely helped. But I love it when companies get so big that they need a full-time person or even a full-time team. You know, they have 3 people in their bookkeeping department. I'm proud of them. I think they did great, and I love that. And that's why we're always getting new clients and we're helping them grow to that level. We just hired 2 new bookkeepers because we had more work than we can handle. And now we are ready to take on more clients. So if you guys know of anybody that needs bookkeeping, we made it through tax season. We're alive. We're ready to take on more clients. Okay, good. I'm at the end of my half hour. Hopefully you guys got value out of this. I gave you some calm in the storm of what should I do. I do consultations all the time. If you just started your company and you want to get a QuickBooks set up, you know it's going to be bigger, feel free to reach out. I will do a consultation. I even do seminars. Like I did a seminar for the Young Entrepreneur Group last year. They made me feel real smart. They took a lot of notes. So it was great. I love doing it. So if you need help, if you know someone that needs help, I'm literally here. That is my job in life, to help business owners and entrepreneurs expand and succeed. Oh, hey, Nick. Nick is a new client. We're super excited to have him. We're going to get him all organized. My mission statement for my company, which I've told you guys before, is perfect and complete financial records for your peace of mind. And that's really what I'm selling. People come to me super stressed out, and I want them to not be stressed out. I want to be able to help them. I want them to grow. I want them to succeed. And that's really important to me. That is what I'm here for. So that I don't keep talking and take up way too much of your time, I'm just going to end here in a minute. But I just want to say again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you want a consultation, if you know someone that needs bookkeeping, reach out. If you have any good questions that I should turn into a webinar, put them in the comments, send me a message. You can go on my website, which is solvencynow.com. You can email me, maya@solvencynow.com. I'm also on Facebook, either under Maya Weinreb or Solvency Now Bookkeeping. I'm on Instagram on both, and LinkedIn on Maya Weinreb. So I'm everywhere. I actually just started a TikTok page, so you guys are going to see bookkeeping TikTok soon. I don't know what that's going to entail, but my marketing team says that TikTok is what we're doing. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here. And let me know if you need anything at all. I'm here to help. Have a very good evening. Good night.